in this and maybe, do some testing, like how it's gonna look like. Maybe it needs some sort of tree in here. And I'm still not sure about the intensity of this light. So the 3, let's change this to 2, and then 3.14, 3. Let's check our spheres. And something we can also do is to get that there and see how the light behaves. So okay, just pressing Ctrl L and then moving our mouse. Something like that. Let's see how it looks from the inside. I might change the opacity of this outdoor. Is it the outside one? Let's see, 0.1, and let's do this 0.8, and then maybe bring this up a tiny bit. Yeah, something along those lines. I can go into post-process volume and search for this translucency. Let's see if this improves to ray tracing. Not much, so no, I think I'm gonna stick to the raster one. And 0.9, yeah, I think 0.9 should be a good value to work with. So Cine camera actor. What about if we, the directional light is taking its toll on the machine. So if you see here, it's 35 FPS at the moment. So if I turn this off, it's gonna be like 70 FPS. So that's something we need to keep in mind. For example, if we are doing a project that we want to play, so most of the time I will just go and use a HDRI and like a sky material, and let's see if I can do something with this skylight here. And can I turn this off? Right, now we got 60, like 70 FPS, and it doesn't look bad. Let me just take this off. So not looking bad at all, to be honest. It's quite mute. Well, there is no sky now, but this is another alternative we can use if we want to increase the FPS. So if I get my sun back, because it needs to calculate the shadows for all this vegetation, then it needs to, it's going to be heavier on our project. So let's see if I can just tweak some things out here. Bring more indirect lighting, maybe this 2.5, and then let's see if this has like a ray trace enabled. It doesn't have. No, still, well, it's here is 60%, 60, 69, so it's not bad at all. So increase just by changing this, the cast ray trace shadows. And then disable. So when I disable the ray trace shadows, then it went down, and when I enable it, it went up. So I think probably is in hand with Lumen, and it's more like a software ray tracing, something along. I think that's one of the terms. But now we got 60 FPS, and now we can, if we play, there are some collisions there, and also some trees has collisions, so we can even take the collision out of those trees. Don't think we're gonna need it. And the other, we need to add a material on top as well. The also that volume that we created here for our PCG, it has collisions here. So if I go here, right to collisions, then go into collision presets, then no collision. And for our PCG, now that we are doing our PCG, our collision, we can go into mesh spawner, and then select these trees here, and then set to no collision. And this is going to save resources as well for our machine. So I'm gonna do this quickly and get back when it's done. Okay, back to it. Now if we play, if we hit play, now we can pass through those trees there and there. So yeah, it's looking nice. Again, this is a little bit on what you prefer. If you prefer without the sun, you can use the other method, or even with the HDRI. But for this case, I think this position it's quite nice, and maybe take off a little bit of that exponential height fog. So if I go here, volumetric fog, I can set more or less the scattering distribution. So I'm gonna crank that up to 9, and then there is more, there is less, some, yeah, about, I think we say 75. It should be fine. Okay, now we can set up our camera for like a still render or an animation. I'm just going to go and select this camera and set it in a folder called camera. We can even call this camera outdoor. And the aperture here, these settings behave the same as any DSLR camera. So you got the focus settings, this current aperture. So I'm gonna use this like 11, and then you got this to set the focus distance, and we will see examples of how to do this when we get inside, you will see the effect, how it's focused on the object. But this one looks quite nice. This shot, I think maybe I set this down to 5, and then maybe I can add some tree there just to frame the shot. So let's go into the what's it called, the European simple win, and let's see if I can add some sort of tree there. Oh, I forgot to pin this in here, so probably a bigger tree with this one. Let's see how it looks. Okay, and maybe we can add another one. Probably bigger. It's like that. I think we can set a couple of more trees in here just to fill this space a tiny bit, just so it feels, this doesn't feel that empty. So we got the PCG, but we can increase the density of that filter, but I think that will just make it a little bit heavier. So I think just putting some trees here and there will do the trick for us. See here, it's looking nice. And let's add another one about there, and let me bring it down. This one as well down. So I think there is too much opacity on that there, and maybe did I put this the other way around? No, I think it's fine. Okay, I think this shot is ready to go. I mean, there's a couple of things I can change in here. I can add as well just to bring more realism. But when we do the shots, we can look at it from this point of view. But this shot, I quite like it. It's nice, and I think I can render this properly. And let's start by creating more cameras to our scene just before we do the rendering. And I'm just gonna select this. Remember, I just went in and then I can exit here, and I'm gonna select my camera, and I'm just going to go press Alt and then drag this in. Now I can just go into this camera number 2 and maybe set something like that, or let's find a nice composition. So just let's get the grid, and yeah, I think this composition here, it's quite nice to have. Just about there. Maybe some shot like coming this way like that. It will be nice. And let's say maybe, or something like this going up. So I think going up is quite nice. It's just coming through the vegetation and goes up as like that as well. So maybe if I set it something around there, just so let's get out of the vegetation there. And yeah, it goes like this. So this is another shot that we can have there. And by the way, if this vegetation needs to, I mean, the wind is too much for you, you can always go into European hornbeam in this one, go into materials, simple wind, and this, I think this is the one. And we can set this to 0.2. The wind animation. Let's see, 0.5. So no animation for that. So let's just put 0.1. And I think there is a couple of more that I need to change as well. Maybe it's this one. Does it has the wind there? Yeah. So 0.1, 0.5. Maybe this one here. No, I don't think that is the one for that. So maybe some of these are from the Megascans. So let's go into Megascan, the plant. Let's see if this is the one it's not the Samia. And not this one. Let's see this wild grass. The material seems, no, this seems alright. So definitely is in the European this hornbeam. Let's see, opening that, and maybe it's this one. So now it doesn't have the wind there, but yeah, we can tweak this. I mean, if I find the proper one, let's animate foliage. Just let me get out of this to see which one is moving. So there is another one here that is moving. And yeah, I think it's the branch that is moving. So just gonna grab one of those and see. No, it's not the Sania, so it would be this one. No, this one. Let's set this to 0.1 or 0.05 and 0.5. And let's get back to our camera and press escape. It's better. It's better. Still, there is some branch there that I'm moving, but I think I can live with this. So it goes like that. Yeah, it's subtle. It's there, but it's a little bit more subtle than it was. So gonna get back to this camera here and then go maybe create another one there we can pilot this then. Maybe go something like this, or maybe a shot like this would be nice. So just like it turns a tiny bit, or let me see if I can catch a nice shot in here. Maybe it's too many trees in there, but something we can do is to do a custom near clipping plane. So if I set this like that, I can clip some of those trees. The only thing is, if the camera moves, it's gonna keep that clipping, so probably it's not gonna do well for that shot. And by the way, this I need to set a material for that top there. So let's look for wood and exterior. That should do fine. So let's get back to our camera here, camera outdoor 3. I don't think I can manage to do a shot, maybe something from there. But no, I think an aerial shoot won't do the trick there. So I think it's too many trees at these views. So maybe something like that. So it comes from left to right, goes like that. Let me just yeah, I think this one could be quite nice. It's just hitting the bush and then revealing a little bit of the cabin there. And here I can set this to 90 just so it's a stray. Maybe it's too stray, so 86 should be working fine. Okay, that's another one that I want there. And I'm just gonna move and duplicate that. It's not number 3, it's number 4. Can set something like going this way. Okay, just trying to figure out a nice shot. So maybe something like this, or well, in this case, if it were like a walkthrough, I would probably add some camera shake to this. And we need to improve that floor there. We need to add a little bit more vegetation maybe, and some, don't know, maybe some rocks as well, just to improve this shot. Just like it's going that way there. So let's do that. Let's improve this shot. Let's add some more assets to this. So let's go into 3D assets and maybe some small rocks here and there. And let me just increase the size of it. So I'm just gonna speed this up, but you will get the idea of what I'm trying to do. Just trying to bring more geometry into this, just so it looks a little bit more believable. Right, I think I'm okay with this. Just so we can always do a new video and showing a little bit like a displacement and things like that. But just let's keep this simple, and let's just add another one here. And just gonna go outdoor here, and maybe something showing the house like this. Something I realize is like the reflection on the glass is not great, so I need to sort that out. And let's see what options do we have. So I'm just gonna go into post process. By the way, I've got here some vegetation that we can move all to a folder and call this vegetation. So in case you want to hide pretty much them, you can do. And you also have the PCG folder that we created. So let me look for that PCG